Hi, I'm Yinka, and this is The Hurt Locker, a podcast where we open a door into men's mental health. Coming up.
Bro, you need to have knowledge of self, man. When people started saying to me, I can't believe you're just talking about this stuff.
Your authenticity for me stems from that freedom you had growing up in Nigeria.
I believe so. You're going to have to adjust. And that's something that stayed with me. And because my mum never had a chance to raise me, I said to myself, I will give my name.
You're listening to The Hurt Locker, the podcast that opens the door on men's mental health. And tonight's guest, we've got the multi-talented Ox4Real. So, Ox, welcome to The Hurt Locker.
Thank you for having me, man.
Like I said, I very rarely do research, but the little bit I did about you, I was just like, props to you for everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
So, we'll start with show and tell. My full name, and you guessed it, which tribe is Olayinka Muchu Adio Yesifu. Yeah. And yours is?
My full name is Okemute Apoganeta. I'm from the Delta. My tribe is Urobo, the Urobo tribe, close to Benin.
Okay. So I'm smiling now because there's so much in terms of the diaspora, the Nigerian diaspora. We could just spend the entire session on.
Literally.
You know.
Yeah.
But I was born in Liverpool. You were born in Warri, Delta State.
I was born in the Delta.
Okay.
Yeah.
How old were you when you came to London?
When I was 9, turning 10. 10 years old. Yeah.
And what were your initial thoughts about coming to England?
When I was in Nigeria, I remember thinking about it almost like it was a dream because I had loads of siblings over here in England.
Okay.
And my dad was always going back and forth. But like I said, I wasn't raised by my mum, so I never really saw much of my mum. So my siblings that were over here, they used to send things over. They used to send like toys and things like that. And then my dad would be going back and forth. So while there, my mind very much was like, wow, like, do I get to go to London one day? Will I get to go to England? But then when I got here, it was just very overwhelming. It was beyond anything I ever imagined it to be. It was just, yeah.
Can you unpick that a little bit?
It was so cold, and I never experienced that type of coldness before. And then the food, even though they were cooking some Nigerian food in my home, there was so much things I'd never seen before. So I'd never seen a chocolate bar before. Like a chocolate bar, I'd never seen that before. Because remember, Africa's so hot, they don't sell chocolate bars. Yeah, they'll melt. Everything will melt. So there were certain sweets I'd never seen before because we weren't encouraged to have those things in Nigeria.
No.
I mean, so there was so much things that, and then seeing loads of like white people, like that blew my mind a little bit because obviously I never really seen that much white people before. So there were so many things that you never thought about when you were back home thinking about it. And then when you got here, it was just like, whoa, like.
It's like a paradigm shift, isn't it?
Bro, it was beyond, I can't even really put it into words because what I was seeing was just, it just blew my mind. It was just, but it was good to be that young because when you're young, you just adjust.
And yes.
Yeah, you just adjust and you adjust quite quickly. So I remember my dad just kept on saying to me, you're going to have to adjust. And that's something that stayed with me. My dad just constantly repeating that to me, that I'm going to have to adjust and get used to life here. And I have to adjust and get used to life here. So
was there ever a time that you thought, I can't hack this, I want to go back home?
I was telling my partner about this the other day. There were times in the middle of the night, I would have these horrible stomach pains. And I would be in the bathroom and I would literally be like curled, like in a fetal position because it would be so much pain. And I was trying to explain to her that I think that was my stomach, like trying to adjust to all these different types of food that I was eating now. compared to what my stomach was used to me intaking back in Africa. So there was times like that where I would think, oh my God, like, what is this? Do you know what I mean? But so many of my siblings were here, and that in itself brought so much joy. So I wouldn't say wanting to go back, but there was a lot of time just kind of feeling a little bit lost. Like,
Okay.
yeah, just feeling a little bit lost.
What was being parented by your father like?
I'll be honest with you, it was probably one of the toughest parts of my journey, like in life, because my dad never, I'm sure you know what the stereotypical African man is like. So my dad was very much authoritarian.
Yes.
So he never gave, even though he played the role of a mother and a father, that mother side was more just in terms of feeding the children, making sure they were shopping, making sure that these things were in the home. But in terms of like him loving me or giving me that feeling of motherly love or nurturing me, that wasn't really, I never heard my dad say I love you. I never saw my dad hug any of my siblings, let alone hug me. So there was times when it was tough. There was a lot of times when it was tough. But then at the same time, looking back now, because my dad died in 2020, there's so much that he taught me that are fundamental to my life now.
Okay.
So I think the relationship scarred me. I can openly say that, because there was times when my dad was in quite deep depression himself, and spending time around him was difficult because he used to wish that he was dead. He used to say,
was dark.
yeah, I wish I was dead. I wish God would just take me now. Like, he was bedbound for the last 15 years of his life. So you can imagine what that was like for him, but then how it was like to be around him. This is somebody that was very vibrant, somebody that was outgoing. He was the center of the party. So to go through all that, and then all of a sudden you're just stuck in bed, you've got diabetes, you're just low. But I'll be honest with you, he also showed me an example of resilience, of what it takes to be strong when like you're literally helpless to a certain degree. Do you know what I mean? So it was tough growing up under him. It was tough.
You said that he was bedbound for the last 15 years. Did he still control the family?
Yeah, very much so. At least he tried to. He tried to. It got to the point where obviously he couldn't.
Yeah.
But
yeah. You learn your ways.
I guess he held that respect till the day that he died. And because of that respect, maybe two siblings who don't really get on, they got on. They spoke to each other because of him. So there were some things that he still carried, but he wasn't the same man. Obviously, no, he wasn't the same man. And my dad was quite elderly. I'm his second to last born, and the oldest child. My oldest brother's like probably in his 70s.
Wow.
And I'm 45.
Okay.
So you can see, like,
I can see, yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was tough. It was tough, but there was a lot of lessons in it.
We're speaking as both Nigerians, and
yeah,
I always find that sometimes it would have been so much easier, because you've used the word tough a lot of times now. Sometimes it would have been so much easier in life growing up to have spared the rod.
Yes.
You know, I know as a father now myself, what I experienced, I could never pass it on to my children. I could never, ever.
I know exactly.
I'll be in jail now anyway. So
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
you know.
I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. I know what you mean.
What about schooling?
For me again, that the deepest part about that one was looking around, and all these kids were white, blonde hair, brown hair, long hair, the accent, how they spoke, and there was a curiosity about me. So this is in the primary school.
Yeah.
There was a lot of curiosity about me. like speak. They would say to you, "Oh, speak, speak, so we can hear you speak." What's it like in Nigeria? There was a lot of curiosity. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
And then also, it was clear to me the cultural difference in how these children saw their relationship with their parents and how I saw mine with my dad. So, for example, there was a time I got in trouble, and I remember my dad wouldn't let me go to school. Yeah. And literally, all the kids from my class, they all came after school to my house, and they were all
Wow.
underneath my window. Yeah, there was about 8 of them, 9 of them. Yeah. They were underneath my window, and they were basically shouting, "Run away, you should run away, your dad's been horrible, you should run away," as in I should run away from home.
Yeah.
And I still remember it to this day. I couldn't comprehend what they were saying. Like, run away and go where?
Can I share something with you? That's so interesting because I remember at the age of 9 and 10,
Yeah.
I went through a space of doing that.
Okay.
I was because life was so difficult at home.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what they said. They said it as if it was like the number one solution. But to me, it was so foreign a thought because, for one, I'd been in the country for maybe just over a year. Like, what do you mean run away? Where are you running away to? So it showed me the mentality or the freeness, the
That they
freedom
had.
that they
Yes.
had, because I
Yes.
couldn't even comprehend like not coming home for one day, like, or even I would get in trouble if I got home too late. That's why I wasn't allowed to
Late.
go to school. I came home late after school, and I got into the biggest trouble, bro. I had beatings that day, so the
Listen,
next day I wasn't allowed to school.
I can tell you, school was my sanctuary. So,
Yeah,
so me and my two elder sisters, we
yeah,
never missed a day of school
yeah, yeah,
except this one day.
yeah.
And we had to take 2 days off.
Okay,
There was no way we were going to be seen in school. No
okay,
way whatsoever.
yeah, yeah.
So I hear you.
But the work, in terms of the work, I remember I adjusted to the work. The work wasn't really an issue. It was just they were doing things that we never did in school in Nigeria. Like, they were doing things like they were going out as a group outside the school to draw. Like, they were drawing like they went out as a group, or we went out as a group, and there was chairs outside, and we were drawing the landscape of like the buildings that were on the street next to our school. And to me, it was just like I just couldn't fathom it. I couldn't fathom it. But it was just I just remembered my dad, adjust, adjust. So whatever I was
Mm.
experiencing, that was my constant guide, what my dad told me to adjust. So none of this is normal. All this is new. So just adjust to it, you know? So
Yes. Yes.
oh yeah, now school, I enjoyed school. And like you said, it was an escape. It was a chance to kind of be free. Because
To be yourself.
I was way more free like in school than at home.
Mm. Would
So
you experience those long walks home?
yeah, no,
I
but the
stretch
thing
them
for me,
out
my primary school was at the top of my street.
like mine was.
The top of my street. So literally, imagine this. You see, when I said to you, I came home late and I was in trouble, bro, my dad walked. I finished school at 3:30. It was 5 o'clock. Me, a girl called Ruth, she was like half white, half Chinese, a boy called Sean Gad, and me, 4 of us. So 2 guys, 2 girls. We must have been about 9 years old. We were playing at the entrance of the school. So from the entrance, you could see my door. Like, you could see halfway down the road where my door was. I saw my dad coming. So
What did you do?
from 3:30, the play took us, or it took me anyway. The play took me, and it was 5. My dad walked down.
Wow.
My dad walked
Wow.
down. He walked me back up, and as soon as we got through the door, he told me to go upstairs. As I got upstairs through my door, I just felt the licks from behind.
Of course.
But then now as an adult, I'm a father. My daughter's 16. Yeah. Now I can imagine the fear that was going through my dad. Because he's brought this boy from Nigeria. He's not back from school. It's gone past 3:30. It's gone past 4:30. So he could have been thinking, as the police took him, as immigration people took him, as he got in trouble in school. He's thinking all sorts.
But why always lean to the negative? That's the interesting thing,
Yeah.
isn't it? Why always lean to the negative when, like, you were lost in play? You were happy.
I was lost in play. Literally. The beating that I took that day, I still remember it to today.
I'm going to ask you the question. Do you have any scars from beatings?
I'll be honest with you, no. Because the thing about my dad, even though my dad gave me licks now and again, I can count on one hand from Nigeria to England how many times my dad hit me.
Okay.
With my mum and my dad, remember, I never grew up with my mum. Supposedly, from what I was told, my mum was the disciplinarian.
Okay.
So my dad used to tell her, stop hitting the children.
Yeah.
That's what I've been told. So he wasn't actually the one that was the main hitter, was more my mum. Do you know what I mean? So no, scars, no. But there's one that was very serious. This was in Nigeria. My dad flogged me at the bottom of my feet.
That's a technique, though. Yeah.
He said he did that, and he did it while he was doing it. He explained to me that because I had like a maths class, it was an extra class. You would have to go there like once a week on a Thursday night. And instead of going to the class, I went to play football. And then somebody reported me that, oh, they saw me in the football field. So obviously the teacher told my dad I didn't come that day. So he gave me those floggings at the bottom of my foot, and he said it was because I must learn not to be a walkabout.
I hear all of that and I understand that, but again, spare the rod, talk. Talk.
Yeah. When it comes to talking, and this is when I was older. So when I was, let's say I was 14, 15, bro, my dad would speak to me for like 3 hours.
You believe it?
No joke, bro. 3 hours. 2-3 hours. Just going on and on and on and on. And it might just be because maybe I've gone out without permission, or I've got in trouble at school. Something like that could have happened in secondary school. And then he would just, so he wouldn't hit me. He would just talk. Bro, he would talk until you're melting. And he's just using wisdom. Like he's telling you.
You know what? It's like every Nigerian man and woman has written a book. They've written their own book. And they just carry it in the back pocket. And then they're on the mount and they're reading the same intriguing.
I'm glad you understand, man. I really am.
Understand. So I know we just dived in here, and I'm loving this. But for the benefits of our listeners, our viewers, who is Ox4Real?
When I first got on social media, I think it was Twitter, I called myself Ox4Real. Yeah, that was before I started doing music. And the reason I said I called myself Ox4Real because everyone calls me Ox, because my name's Okemute.
Yeah.
Okemute became Oki.
Yes.
They called me Oki for short. That Oki turned to Ox.
Of course.
Oki, Ox, Ox, Oki, Ox. It's happened like that.
Yeah.
So the Ox4Real was like, yes, it's really Ox4Real. Like it's Ox, me for real. As in, it's really me. That's how that came about. And then Ox, Monica's son, that was in 2016 when I started recording music. I made a decision that I was going to record music, put music out there. And because my mum never had a chance to raise me, I said to myself, I will give my name, my artist name will be her. So my mother's name is Monica.
Okay.
So the idea was when I release music, put music out there, perform, everybody will know my mother because she never got a chance to know me, never got a chance to raise me, never got a chance to enjoy her son. So I'm going to give her the torch, let the torch shine on her, as in, I am Ox, Monica's son. So wherever I go, people will know her. And that was my way of giving back to her.
Does she know that? Is she still with us?
Yeah, I didn't literally tell her word for word, but there's magazines that I featured in. There's things that I featured in that I've given to her. And these articles, they talk about me dedicating my name to my mother and things of that nature. Do you know what I
What
mean?
was their response?
She just smiles and she speaks in our language and just like tells me well done and my son. And because my mum's quite elderly, my mum's like 90.
Yeah.
Like I'm her last born. So
Yeah.
she had me when she was in her 40s.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So she's not current with, oh,
Yeah.
I do hip hop music, I'm a rapper, or she doesn't
You're
know
a
what those
warfare.
are. Yeah, do you know what I mean? So, but she has the idea of her son is doing these things in the West, in England, and
Yeah.
he's dedicated some of it to her. She has an idea of that. Do you know what I mean?
Excellent.
So, yeah.
Excellent. So the music was being a success.
Yeah.
Was that a surprise to you?
I think more the subject matters that I tackled. So one of my first songs was called Make It Right. And in that song, I talk about being sectioned because I was sectioned in 2010 and sectioned in 2014. And I speak about my sectioning.
Was your sectioning of your own volition?
No. I was arrested and I was in a police station, and at the police station, they sectioned you. As in, some doctors came and assessed me, and they made a decision that I will be sectioned because of my behavior and because of what they witnessed, in like while they examined me while I was in the cell. So that's why I ended up being sectioned. Do you know what I mean? But the experience of that sectioning in 2010 and 2014, I don't know. Okay, so I had therapy in 2015, 16. Yeah.
Okay.
And then one of the things that happened in the therapy, the therapist, amazing guy, Jeffrey McDowell, he wanted me to tell him about my likes. Like, what did I like doing? What were my hobbies? What were my dreams? So I spoke to him a lot about writing, like music, writing, and things that I potentially want to do. So he said to me, why don't you write some lyrics and bring it to one of the sessions? So I wrote just like, I think it was like a verse, and I brought it to one of the sessions and I rapped it to him. And that verse ended up being the first verse in a song called Make It Right. And when you say, were you surprised? It was more, I didn't expect people to, I don't even know what I expected. But when I made the music, I didn't make it to gain fans.
Yeah.
I made it to heal.
Of
I
course.
I made it because I needed to hear it. Like it was for me and other people maybe that were like me, that were in a tight position, or they got their backs against the wall. So I made it with that type of energy. But then it just went it just went it went all over the place. Like people were playing it in their cars, sending me videos, people were posting it on their social media, and it kind of created a narrative for me that somebody needed to talk about mental health, because
100%.
I was looking around and people were saying, oh, well done, oh, this is amazing, but then I weren't seeing other people talking openly about, oh, being depressed or being sectioned or any of these things.
It was like it was like you'd put your head above the parapet.
To a certain degree, but I didn't even know there was a parapet.
Touche.
I never knew there was a stigma against it. I only found that out after, when people started saying to me, "Oh, bro, I can't believe you. I can't believe you're just talking about this stuff." Like, I had people phone me because obviously I'd been sectioned, so friends and family were worried. You're talking about this in that video. You're crying in the video. Take it down. Take it down. and I'll be thinking, I'm just expressing how I feel. I'm just.
Can I say something? I want to just cut across you now. I want to say this. Your authenticity for me
Yeah,
stems from that freedom you had growing up in Nigeria.
I believe so. I believe so. I believe.
It's true. It's
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
I remember going to a training session by this Nigerian guy, and he hadn't been in England long,
yeah,
and his English wasn't 100%, but it was good enough.
yeah,
But the confidence that he exuded
yeah,
when he was delivering his training
yeah.
was top notch. It
Yes,
was top notch. And I noticed the difference between him only recently coming from Nigeria and
yeah,
having that confidence
yeah,
to a lot of us who were born and raised in this country
yeah,
who have those stigmas put
yeah,
over us.
yeah. I
From,
think you're spot on. I think you're right.
I know I'm right from a
Yeah,
very early age.
yeah.
Know your place.
There were people I found out later, friends, after I'd been sectioned and after I'd come out of it. I found out that there were friends of mine that they'd been sectioned, but for some reason they kept it a secret. So for me, I thought to myself, why would you not tell me? Like, why wouldn't you tell me that you'd been sectioned? You came and visited me. I saw you. Why wouldn't you tell me? Because if you told me, then it would give me hope. As in, I would be like, oh, like he got sectioned. Like if he got sectioned, I ain't got nothing to worry about because I'm gonna make it out of this. Because you don't know how you're going to be. You don't know if you're gonna get back your life, if your life's gonna be how it was before. You don't know any of that. You're just trying to get your mind back. That's what I was just trying to do. I was fighting to get my mind back, trying to own my mind again, trying to get control of my life again. And if I had seen other people that I knew and they
That's
told
right.
me their story, it would have helped me. It would have
Absolutely.
it would have helped me heal and maybe help me heal quicker.
Yeah.
But I was finding stories on YouTube or I was finding stories online of strangers, like and then also I was getting more into my relationship with God. I was learning how to pray and learning how to build a relationship through Christ with God. And all these things it was almost like I discovered it for myself, like this healing. Whereas if I could have met one or two of these people I grew up with in England, and they said to me, you know what, Ox, I got sectioned, or my brother got sectioned, or my mum got sectioned, and this is how we made our way back from there. This is what happened, and it would just give you more like a roadmap, like some
Yes.
type of map for you to know, okay, this is where I am right now. But it's like you're just walking in the dark. You're literally
100%.
walking in the dark by yourself. So when I got to the position and I started expressing myself and I started seeing that it was helping people because people would send me messages, people would DM me.
On the QT, isn't it?
Yeah, on the QT. Oh, thank you so much for saying that. Oh my God, this one's going through it. If I showed you some of the messages that I get, like from mums, I get messages from mums about their sons. I get messages from people who are in the hospital. I get these messages, bro. And it's like, I'm not the answer. I don't have all the answers, but I know just because they're hearing from somebody that was sectioned, that was in the hospital, so just like them, for some reason it gives that bit of comfort
Yeah.
that this is possible. But it goes back to something you said before. There was a confidence that I had in me that I think society tries to steal from you, but there was a confidence that was in me that I don't feel shame. Like this happened to me, and this was the result of what happened to me. But I'm not a person that was taking cocaine. I wasn't smoking crack heroin. I wasn't an alcoholic. I wasn't doing like fundamental things that I could turn around and say, "Oh, I brought this all on myself." No, there's nothing for me to really be ashamed about. It's just some trauma happened to me. I was shot. That's another thing. I was shot 5 times in 2006. So the shooting led to PTSD, but
Of
I
course
never
it
had the
is.
education. I never had the knowledge of PTSD. I never
Of
knew what
course.
that was until I had the therapy.
And your therapist would have said, the body keeps the score.
There you go.
The body keeps the score.
There
If
you
it's
go.
not being purged,
Yeah,
it will manifest itself in
Yeah.
some way. And eventually it did with you.
yeah. But I honestly believe if I had more information as a young man, as in high school, though sometimes in high school they might do sexual education, da da da. If they did mental health education in school at a level where they explained to you what all these different things were, like PTSD, schizophrenia, if they gave you more of an in-depth understanding of these things when you're younger, yeah, you might not take it seriously, but at least the information will be there.
And then you may retrieve it at a later date.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the fact that come September in comprehensive schools, they will be talking about mental health, they will be talking about suicide?
It's really needed. It's really needed. It's really needed because even down to the generation now, the ones that are in their early teens, that are in secondary school, there's so much that they're experiencing that's damaging their mental health. Like I think the Prime Minister said now they're taking away social media for under 16-year-olds or something like that from next year.
Yeah.
That alone, do you know how much children that's going to save? There's
100%.
so many kids that have become teenagers, that have become young adults, that are swimming in depression.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I used to work for this national charity, Papyrus, Prevention of Young Suicides. And we did a campaign in April 2019. And the campaign was this. We put in Liverpool opposite Lime Street Station at St. George's Hall.
Yeah.
And we put 226 pairs of shoes on the steps of St. George's Hall. And those 226 pairs of shoes represented the 226 school-aged children from 10 to 18 that had died by suicide that year.
Are you serious, bro?
Wallah. Listen to this. Every year, more than 200 school-aged children die by suicide each year. You're a Chelsea supporter, aren't you?
I'm an Arsenal man.
Oh, are you? Oh, okay, we won't get into that. Okay, we won't get into that. But if 200 Arsenal supporters never came back from a football match, there'd be a governmental inquiry, wouldn't there?
That's unbelievable. I've never heard anything like this before.
That happens every year.
Are you serious?
Listen, I'm an elephant for facts.
Is this in a particular part of the UK or the whole UK?
This is all UK, yeah.
Both genders, boys and girls.
Male and female, yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah. Between the ages of 10 and 18.
Are you
school age 200 a year.
So like in the last 3 years, it's been 600 and something.
Plus, yeah.
Oh my God. I've never heard this before.
Listen, stay with me and you'll learn more of these facts.
That is shocking, bro.
So on LBC last Wednesday, they spoke about putting more money for funding for mental health, particularly suicide. You know how much the figure was? 10 million.
10 million, is that it?
Yeah. Listen to this. The following day, you had a minister for the prisons, who was talking about drones bringing contrabands into prisons. You know how much they set aside to put meshing around prisons, windows and that? 150 million.
Are you kidding me?
So it tells you which is more important.
They don't care. Now, be honest with you, because you see the same. All right. So you see this thing that they've talked about, stopping the kids from being on social media. Yeah.
Yeah.
They care more about the money that
100%.
they're getting from these young people than they
100%.
do about looking after these young people.
100%.
Because even down to this scourge of knife crime, like the level of where it's at, I know the government could put a stop to that if they wanted to.
Of course they could. Look, let's be honest about this. Let me give you another stat before I continue.
Yeah.
7% of all 17-year-olds will have attempted to end their own life.
Say that again?
7% of all 17-year-olds in this country will have attempted to end their own life.
Are you kidding me? 7%. Wow. Brother, and you know the thing, as a kid, yeah, it never crossed my mind to say, oh, I'll consider taking my own life. Never, as a kid. Because as a kid, as a teenager, you're meant to just be living, like experiencing things,
childhood,
learning, education, like building up who you are, building like your friendship circles, learning, getting your heart broken. You might break a heart here or there. You're growing up. That's it. But you shouldn't be thinking about killing yourself. But so much is going on with them. There's so much confusion within their world. Because even for me, for example, okay, I had a best friend growing up, Marcus, yeah, growing up in England. Me and Marcus had a fight. This is my best friend, yeah? We had a fight in the park, yeah, after school one day. I can't remember why, yeah? Within 2-3 days, we were best friends again, yeah? And there was only 2 people there that saw the fight. Those are the 2 people that walk with me home. Not with him, they walk my way. Those were the 2 people that were there. Bro, do you know no one else knew about this fight? No one else knew. Whereas now, you got 2 kids have a fight. Bro, the whole world
knows. Mobile phones.
The whole world knows. The whole world knows. So much people know that the kids involved in the fight, they don't know who knows.
Yeah.
So imagine where their minds are, especially if it's somebody that's not that strong mentally.
They fill in the gaps. They'll just fill in the gaps.
So this one knows, that girl knows, oh, that one knows. And then sometimes somebody will show them the footage.
Yeah.
Oh, look at Danny. Danny punched you up. Look, Danny punching you up. Da, da, da. Laughing. Look at the girl. I don't know if you remember this. The girl in South London, Elaine, and the boy stabbed her in the neck. There was a black girl, Elaine. She got off the bus with her friend, and the boy stabbed her in the neck.
Yeah.
But that story is all about footage on a phone and them laughing at the boy because of the footage on the phone and the girl that doesn't want to be with him anymore.
Yeah.
But something that should have been kept within maybe like 3 or 4 people, it was all over Snapchat. It was all over the school. So the boy, now he's confused. He doesn't know what to do.
So what's he going to do? He's just going to lash out.
He's turned up with a knife. How are you, bro? You see, when we were younger, not that we carried knives, but if a gentleman or a young boy carried a knife, it's not for a girl. You like a boy, like these kids now, it's almost like they don't even have their own minds anymore. If you get what I mean.
But I do. But we have a situation whereby what I witnessed in community development was the erosion of youth centres and youth clubs. Youth centres and youth clubs were neutral grounds.
Yeah.
They'd work with the youth workers. If anybody had a beef, they'd learn how to moderate and reconcile it. Yeah. But when it became detached and the youth centres were closed and the kids were out on the street, well, they'd have to join one gang as opposed to another. And if one gang is saying, listen, you best tune up, because that's what we do, or you can't be part of us, then the kid out of fear would do that because they want to belong to somebody on the street.
Yeah, and they want to be loved. They want to be loved.
Of course. And that's if they're not loved at home.
Yeah.
And they need to be loved on the street.
A lot of the time, the love isn't at home. It's not at home a lot of times. Yeah, it's not.
Absolutely. And then the correlation is you saw a decline in the amounts of police who were there on the streets as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And police stations closing down.
Oh, left, right, and centre.
So many of them have closed down. And it's like, you think to yourself, how can crime be going up? Crime is becoming more violent, but then you guys have got less police on the street and there's less visibility. So as a kid, I'm going to think I can get away with more because I'm not seeing any police on the street. So I'm going to be
more emboldened.
Yes, I'm going to definitely be a lot more brave. I'm definitely going to think, oh, we can pull that off because police that used to be up and down there, they're never there no more. So it's just, a part of me doesn't know if this is a plan, because if we can control the masses and we can have the masses almost imploding and fighting one another, then nobody's gonna really stand up against the oppressors or stand up against the powers that be. So it's a strange time. But I do pray for the younger generation, because it feels like there's an assault on them. There was an assault on us, but I don't think that assault is as heavy it is on the younger generation. I don't think it's as heavy.
Are you hopeful for your child?
Yes, I believe so, because I still believe good parenting will equals good children and and good human beings. So you might not be liked very much by your child because you're actually parenting, but at the end of it, you should have a child that goes to the right school, that goes to the right college, that goes to the right university or the right type of training service after college, and their circle will determine their future. Because
100%.
if your child goes to a particular school, leaves that secondary school with particular grades, they're going to enter college and then uni by God's grace, and they will be around a particular friendship circle. Because there's people that live in our society, they're not around any violence. They don't see any violence.
No, absolutely.
They got good jobs, they drive nice cars, live in nice houses, and they don't see the things that we're talking about because they're not in that environment. They've got a home somewhere in the suburb somewhere or wherever it may be, and it's away from the razzle and the dazzle of the city centre and where and I think a lot of those things is determined by your education and by your achievements.
But I also think as well, you speak about parenting, and yes, school has got a role as well, but it's also incumbent on the individual to be able to think critically.
Very much so.
And to be able to learn, to be able to differentiate between what's a lie and what's a truth. So just ask the question: how come this? How come that? Not take what we see on the television as gospel.
Yeah,
because it's not.
No, definitely not. There's some of this stuff that they feed us that it's up to us to unfeed our children. There's some things that we're gonna have to let them go through. So they're gonna have to go through that education system. But then while going through it, we want them to be successful. So we want them to leave there with amazing grades. But we also know we're gonna have to unlearn some of the stuff they go there and learn. That's just, you have to know that as for yourself, as a parent or as a caregiver, or that's just something you need to know. But it shouldn't stop you from allowing that child to leave that place with the best possible grade or mark or whatever it is that they need to leave there with. Because we live here, we're in England, we live here. Let's not go on as if there's a parallel world that's available. No, we need our children to get marks from these institutions so they can have some form of access to some type of good job, or because then all the other things you can start.
Livability. There needs to be connections. We need to be making connections with the right people all the way so that we don't feel as if we're on the fringes of society.
Exactly, because it's all good saying we want to be rebels and we want to be against the powers that be, and we stand for this and we stand for that. But at the end of the day, you still live in this society. You're still here. You're still a part of this thing. So what are you going to do? Are you going to be on the outskirts? And is your child going to live like that? Or what can you execute by living on the outskirts? What can you change by being on the outskirts? You can't change much because they see you coming. You kind of need to be in it for you to change it. You have to be inside of it for you to create some type of change.
Let me throw you the curveball.
Yeah.
Last Thursday, Friday, we saw a South African by the name of Elon Musk become a trillionaire. Okay.
Crazy.
How long? That money is the equivalent of Switzerland's GDP.
Crazy.
How long do you think it will take for this world, if ever, to see a black trillionaire?
It may never happen.
It will never happen.
Never happen. Because how he has become a trillionaire, it's almost like it's unfathomable. It's not not real. It's not real money. It's money that you pluck from thin air.
Yeah.
It's thin air money. Like it's
Yeah.
money that if you start trying to explain it,
You can't.
it almost doesn't make sense because he's become a trillionaire because of the potential of what
Absolutely. Technologies.
yeah, it doesn't but a lot of that stuff when it comes to the exchange and the what they're selling and buying, what they're trading and all of that stuff.
It's nonsense. It's an illusion.
But people have made a living from it. People are wealthy from it. So I can't say because I've got some friends that they trade and they always tell me, "Oh, you need to get into trading. You've got the mind for it. You've got the mind for it." But I'm not into all that stuff. I'm not, no disrespect. I'm sure it's a great earner if you got the patience and you got the know-how. I'm sure it is. But for me, it's like you're plucking money from the sky, literally, and somebody's gonna be losing out.
100%. And I'll give you an example of that. You speak about somebody's going to be losing out, and you can verify this.
Yeah.
They need to, with the AI, and you need to have all your data banks and all that, and cooling places, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Elon Musk went to a community, black and brown community, didn't get the legislation, he just set up his own power bank place, whereby the methane was going into the air.
Wow.
Was polluting.
Wow. I think there was one I saw, but I think it was more AI, and basically they were saying that all the space they need for the machinery to make all this stuff run, they said it's drying out lakes.
Yeah.
Right.
Think about this. It's interesting you should bring that up. Water is a free commodity.
Yeah, I pay for water.
But we pay for it. It should be free. These companies, AI companies, are taking that resource.
True. Yeah.
And using it for themselves.
Yeah. Supposedly they're draining out lakes. They're draining out so much water from the machineries because there's so much heat and all this stuff they don't talk about on the news.
No.
And there's going to be generations that come after us that are going to suffer because of all this stuff. They're going to suffer because if we're paying for water now, what are kids going to be paying for? Because we shouldn't be paying for water.
No.
You can dig up a well. You can dig a well. You can dig a well up and get water out the ground, but we're paying for it. It comes out of my bank account by direct debit every month. And I look at it and I think to myself, why are you paying for water? But I still do it because I got advice. I got advice to do it. Like this lady that helped me with social care and helped me with budgeting from a charity, she told me to do it and I can't not do it because she helped me with so much things. And she told me, okay, you need to do this. You need to pay for the water. You need to pay for your TV license. I pay for TV license. My dad paid for TV license. So there's a part of me that feels I've got to do things the way he did it. But really and truly, bro, I hardly watch TV. I hardly watch live TV. So I shouldn't really be paying for it. But there's all these things that we conform to. We just do.
A sense of obligation.
Yeah. And also you want peace. You don't want nobody knocking on your door. They may never knock at your door, but especially if you want to do things with a righteous heart, you want to do things in the correct way. You don't want anybody knocking on your door to say, oh, you owe this. Oh, I'm a bailiff. You've not paid for this. You've not paid for your water. All of a sudden, no. So you try to do things in the correct way. But I think the system and the powers that be, they make use of us wanting to do things in the correct way and do things in the right way. But, bro, this is life, man. This is life. And this is England, bro. So we take it as it comes, man. We take it as it comes.
Would you ever live off? Would you ever live off the grid?
I've got a sister of mine, and she talks about she has a bag, like she calls it a go bag. She
Okay.
said her and a couple of her friends, they've got a go bag, and basically they've got it prepped and ready. It's got whatever it needs to be. It's got canned food in there. It's got toiletries. It's got whatever they need. I'll be honest with you. You see, if we got to that space, if we got to that place, I believe we would be more filled and fulfilled as human beings than now. If we had to live in that way, I think our true selves would more come to the forefront.
We'd be more content.
Yes, and people would have to find out who they are. You couldn't hide who you are, because when there's desperation and you've got your back against the wall and you have to show the works of your hands, that's when you get to know who someone is. When everything is like this and everything is sweet and comfortable, you don't really know who people are. Like somebody could be living with you, you don't really know who they are. Do you know what I mean? Because they're not. Nobody's desperate. Nobody's in pain. When you're in pain and you're desperate, you show yourself. You show who you are. Like if there's three of us and we've got to clear a field, and without clearing that field, we're not going to eat. I will know who you are, and you will know who I am.
And I already know who I am in that respect. You know, I already know who I am because wow. I'm a bricklayer by trade.
Okay, so you know about hard work.
I know about it, and I there was nothing worse than seeing people just skive.
Exactly. And
just
there's some people that will
just shake. They
will watch you work and they won't care. They won't care. There's people like that. They will look at you and they will watch you work. And there's that lazy spirit that's in some human beings. There's a lazy spirit. And that lazy spirit, somebody will look at you, know you need help, and they won't offer the help. They won't offer the help. But if it's time to go and have a couple beers, a couple bevies, they're first in the queue, bro. They'll be the first. This is the truth. This is the truth. But I think sometimes in life, and I'm so grateful for some of the bad things I've experienced, because those bad things that I experienced, they showed me who I am. They showed me how strong I can be. And they showed me like that I've got like a ceiling. I've got a ceiling. Like there's a lot that I can take, because sometimes you don't know what you can take. You don't know.
Well, it's funny because we haven't touched on racism and all stuff like that, but philosophically for me, I know as a black man, and no, I know as a Nigerian man growing up in this country.
Yeah.
In terms of pecking order.
Yeah.
Or supposed pecking order.
Yeah.
But one of the things they can't do is take that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can't take that.
Nobody can.
You know, and if you educate yourself,
then you become more of, do you know what I mean? And I think a lot of people that come from the lower regions of life, you might say, the people who haven't gone to private school, the ones who haven't had that higher level education, they don't realize even in the public schools, you can educate yourself to a certain level where you can escape poverty. It's possible to escape poverty because education can give you that. It can open doors and take you into rooms that somebody that you grew up with that lives next door to you will never enter that room.
Yes.
But because you chose to fight, you chose to go to that next level with your studies, all of a sudden you'll meet people. You'll meet people who introduce you to things. You'll find yourself in spaces. And I think that's the power of education. And I don't think a lot of people coming from where we come from take education serious enough, especially the men, boys. They don't take education. I think the women take education more seriously. The women take education more seriously, but I don't think the men take it seriously enough, because it can literally change your life. It can change the trajectory of your life depending on what you've decided to study and how relevant it is to the time that you're living in. So for me, education is a different, like if I didn't have the education that I had, I don't think I could have survived what I survived. That's a good way for me to explain it, because there was times when I was faced with depression, I was faced with anxiety, faced with darkness, faced with like losing my mind, being sectioned, yeah? But the level of education that I took myself to, I only went up to a graduate. I got got like a BA in marketing, but being able to read and have that interest in reading and have a mind that wanted to learn, that wanted to know more. When I was in those spaces, like when I was in a mental hospital, I did loads of reading, and that reading became an escape. So I wasn't really in there. I was sectioned and I was in the mental home, but I've still got a book that I'm reading that's giving me pictures, that's giving me imagination, that's telling me stories, and that's taking me out of this cage that I'm in for that little period when I've got the book open. Do you know what I mean? And then also, I believe education gives you perspective. So,
100%.
and having perspective can have you survive a tough period, because you might be in that tough period, but because you've got perspective and you've got a mind of understanding, you know that this is only going to last so long, because that's how life is. Everything is in.
Did you look back when you were sectioned those 2 times and ever feel that you were sectioned unfairly?
There's still a part of me.
How much did race play a part in you being sectioned?
I believe maybe I would have had maybe more of a air, as in, okay, I'll give you this, for example. The first time I was sectioned, about 3 weeks into the sectioning, I had a meeting with a psychologist, yeah? And this lady, she said to me that she feels one of the main reasons I'm in this hospital is because of abandonment issues, yeah? So not having a mother. She said that was one of the crucial things when after she asked me several questions, and then she said also my dad. Because you see what we spoke about earlier in terms of my dad being a disciplinarian, there wasn't much love. All those things are damaging for your mental health.
Of course.
But you wouldn't know those things
until you educate yourself.
Exactly.
And then you look back.
Exactly. So go back to your question. Imagine if my dad was softer. So let's say he wasn't an African man. Let's say he was a Caucasian man. Some of the things I experienced in that house, maybe I wouldn't have experienced. So parts of my depression that came from being in the home with my dad, maybe it wouldn't have come. Maybe I wouldn't have gone through that. And then being in the hospital, how I was dealt with, remember, okay, so as a black guy, I'm 6'4". So
okay.
I'm tall.
So you're a threat straight away.
I'm tall, dark.
I'm a threat. I'm big.
I'm tall, I'm dark. It doesn't take much for my actions to come across as a threat. It doesn't take much. Yeah? So all those things play a part. But then when you check a lot of the hospitals, a lot of the nurses, not the doctors, I'm talking the day staff, the nurses, a lot of them, they're black.
Of course they are.
And a lot of them are African.
Yes.
So it's like, why are you treating me like this? Like, why are you talking to me like this? Why aren't you listening to me? So there's a lot we could delve into when it comes to race and being in the mental health system. But
it's that intersectionality once again.
Yeah, it's
you know, and it's quite funny because when you say that, when you mention that, I studied in uni around slavery, etc. And it was interesting how it was the Irish and it was the Scottish who were seen as the overseers of the slaves. It wasn't English people who were overseeing them, you know.
Okay.
But it was those in the hierarchical structure who were lower down, who were overseeing. And it's playing out again.
Yes. Interesting.
How's it been on the Hurt Locker?
I'll be honest with you, it's good just to speak to people or speak to just somebody that has an open mind. Like, you see this stuff that you have an interest in it, you have an interest in the mind.
Yeah.
You see a lot of people that you have in your life day to day, they don't have a sense of, you see, before you said, oh, I know myself. Most people don't know themselves. So I'm talking to you, I can sense I'm talking to somebody that has a knowledge of self. And whenever you speak to somebody that has a knowledge of self, the conversation feeds you. So this is a conversation that's fed me because I'm speaking to somebody that has some interest in the subject, mindfulness and the mind and mental health, but I'm also talking to somebody that has knowledge of self. And you can't beat those conversations. Whether it's a woman you're talking to, whether it's a young person or older person. When you speak to people that have knowledge of self, they feed you, you feed them. It's just
100%. You know what it is? I use the metaphor, the analogy, radiators and drains.
There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. I was talking to my reverend the other day and I was trying to explain to her there's givers and takers. There's givers and takers. And if you're a giver, you better be careful when you meet a taker. Because takers don't know how to stop taking. And givers struggle. And givers struggles to stop giving because it's just in their nature. They love.
It's nature. It's natural.
Exactly. Whereas a taker's a schemer. A taker
100%.
gonna see you and realize you're a giver before you realize anything.
And then you, as a giver, you realize, WTF, what's just happened? You know, I was just being my authentic self and this happens.
All I can say to you, in this world, especially in this England or in this Western world, bro, you need to have knowledge of self, man. You need to have knowledge of self. Because what I realized, and I've only really realized this in the last few years, there was a power that I had in me because I was born in Nigeria, just like you mentioned. Because there was a confidence that was in me that I saw my friends never had. And then when I look at all my friends, when I look at them all, 80% of them did not know their dads. 80% of my friendship circles, they didn't know their fathers.
Okay. So you've got to come back on again.
No, it'd be a pleasure, bro. It'd be a pleasure, man. I released my book. My book came out in January. So there's so much for us to talk about, man.
You got an award, a literary award last week, didn't you?
Yeah, brother. It was such a blessing, brother. And I was trying to explain to the geezer, bro, I never wrote the book for money and I never wrote the book for any awards. I literally wrote the book because it's like it was burning in me. I couldn't do nothing else. Like at that period, like it's like I had to do that at that time because I couldn't do nothing else. So I just needed to do it. It's almost like I needed to do it to go to my next level. Yeah. But I never knew there was going to be money involved. I never knew people would be paying for it. And I never knew anybody would want to give me an award for it. Because I never had those thoughts in my mind when I wrote it.
You know, isn't that interesting? I'll give you a little story.
Yeah.
I said I used to be involved in community developments in the areas, etc. And I still remember, as a community development officer, I had these two business plans that were presented to me as a gateway to, people had various ideas. One was a big 50-page document with floppy disk, as it was at the time. Yeah. And the other one was just 9 pages, loads of grammatical mistakes, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Which one received the money?
The one with the mistakes.
100%, because it was from the heart.
It was real. It was real.
It was real.
Yeah.
And they made a success out of the business that they opened up. And I've always had that in my, I used to say to people, if you want to set up a business, give me the 5 W's and the 1 H: who, what, where, why, when, and how.
Okay.
That's your basis of your business plan.
Yeah.
And once I can see that you can do that, then I'll provide a pathway for you to access whatever it is you need.
Okay,
but you've got to do that work itself.
That's amazing. That's amazing, man. That's amazing.
I don't know how you're going to respond to this, but you can only pick one person.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm going to ask you, who's the most important person in your life?
It's going to sound horrible. I was going to say my daughter, but it's probably Jesus Christ, bro. It's my Lord.
Okay.
If you want a physical person that's here.
Okay. On visible persons, let me tell you that you're wrong. Let me say that the most important person in your life is you.
Yeah.
You're the expert of you. You know what makes yourself happy. You know what makes yourself sad. And by attending to your needs first and foremost, can you be fully there?
I would say me, but there's a level of humility that won't allow me to.
But it's not being selfish.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
Remember what they say when you're on an airplane? Put your own mask on first.
No, you're spot on. You're spot on. You're spot on. Nothing you're saying there is a lie. It's true. It's spot on. It's spot on. It's spot on. What you're saying there, spot on. It's spot on. I can't deny that. Spot on. Spot on.
I don't know what your plans are for this evening, but we're going to finish in a minute. You're going to close your phone down. Have you eaten tonight?
Yeah, I've had some dinner. I was going to watch I wanted to watch the France game.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, it started. Yeah, we'll catch. Yeah. Okay. So you switch on the telly, you're watching the France game.
Yeah.
It goes to half time.
Yeah.
There's a knock at the door. You go to the door, you open it. And it's 10-year-old Ox at the front door. What do you say to him?
I wanted to say two things to him. Everything's going to be all right. Yeah, that's one of them. Everything's going to be all right. And believe in yourself more. Believe in yourself more. Because that's the one thing I look back on. I wish I had more belief in myself from a younger age. I just never did. And I don't know if that's because I never had my mum. Like, not knowing my mum and how my dad was with me, I never had that confidence that you need when you're growing up. You know, I've got some friends, like, when I see how confident they are, like, it's
unbelievable, the contrast.
I could never, I'm thinking when I was younger. I can now, but, like, when I was younger, like, I'll think to myself, how come he's talking to that girl like that? Like, I just couldn't fathom saying these things. And they were so assured of themselves, but my confidence was a different type of confidence.
Yes.
It wasn't confidence in chirping a girl or chatting up a girl. It was more like confidence in, I know I'm a Kimite. I know who I am. As in, there's not much you can say to me that will make me not feel that I'm from somewhere, that I am someone. But when it came to the other type of confidence, like talking to a girl or having a conversation or maybe networking, or I just was shy. And I just never had that confidence. And even in purpose, like, I never believed enough in myself. It's just really weird. It's really peculiar. But I know it's the love of a mother, because the love of a mother makes you believe in yourself, because a mother will make you believe you can do anything. That's the love of a mother. It's almost like it's a manic love. It's like a love of, you can do anything, son. Whereas my dad was more, stay out of trouble. Don't do this. It was more like instructions.
Yes. Yeah. And that's not what you needed.
No, I needed to be built up. Do you know what I mean? But, I look forward to us talking again, man. Definitely.
Ox, we will, without a doubt.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Ox, you've been an excellent.
No, it's been a pleasure, bro. It's been a pleasure.
You know?
Definitely.
Thank you for being on the Hurt Locker.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
The Hurt Locker is a safe space for our guests to openly share their mental health experiences. If you have been affected by any of the content in this recording, then please reach out for support. If it is an emergency, dial 999. If you would like to talk to somebody today, then please call the Samaritans on 116 123. Stay safe. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Hurt Locker. Please give us a rating or share with another listener. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Hurt Locker Pod.